So I built a lot of castles in the air. I all these prince in shining armor who will come and
Prince
rescue you
Charming.
from trouble. So if you go into marriage with that mindset, you'll be so disappointed.
Yeah.
For instance, I remember I have said that you thinking that marriage is a happily ever after. That is unrealistic. People will say, are you trying to say that couples cannot remain happy forever? That's not what I mean. What I mean is that it can be an euphoria all the time. If not, you're living like Alice in Wonderland. Because situations will come.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come when your people are still alone as a couple, it will come when children come. You have disagreements over even the school the children will go, the number of children you will have. When it's time for secondary school, which school they will go. Even you, there are always issues. Your relationship with your in-laws. Do we go for this burial or not go?
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe little things that ordinarily should not be an issue, but because you're two different people, it will come up. So that's what I meant by that. You can't. But that is why, somewhere down the line, like I said, you feel that the love is no longer there. You are now existing like two strange bedfellows.
Yeah.
No, what you've done is to adjust to reality.
Yeah.
Because this is the reality of my marriage. This is the reality of who my spouse is. And this is the reality of who I am. Though you now settle into normalcy.
Yeah.
That's what usually happens. It doesn't mean that the person doesn't love you anymore, doesn't care for you anymore. So it's good that I make that point clear.
Yes. So is it safe to say that part of or a major reason why we have lots of unrealistic expectations is because of media exposure to other media like movies? Because you've seen something over and over, you now think it is reality, not knowing that part of it is fiction. It's not what is obtainable in real life.
Yeah, it could be a part, it's a contributor. Because I remember growing up, because I was a novel addict.
Yeah.
All those silhouette romance, News and Boone, I was a James Stanley Chase.
Yeah.
In fact, at the time, I even gave myself a target of finishing like 300 to 400 page novel in a day.
Wow.
So my mom will leave the house in the morning. I'll be there reading, and by the time she comes back about 6:30, I've not had my bath, still lying in the same spot reading, and I'll finish it that day. So I built a lot of castles in the air. I all these prince in shining armor who will come and
Prince
rescue
Charming.
you from trouble. So if you go into marriage with that mindset, you'll be so disappointed.
Yeah.
And then you're feeling disappointed. You should be disappointed at yourself, not at your spouse,
Yes.
because you came in with unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
Because the guy cannot become who you want him to be overnight. Because he's not a robot.
Yep.
He's a human being, flesh and blood,
Yes.
created in the image of God himself.
With flaws.
And he's his own person, yes, with his own flaws.
Yeah.
So that is a contributor. It's not the overall one, but it's
Yeah.
just a contributor.
Yeah.
It's just that we as individuals have in our minds what we think ought to be. Even for our marriages, for instance, a woman forgets that she's a woman in the marriage. She's the second party in the marriage. She doesn't make all the decisions. So, but when you come with that, perhaps you had an authority in your, for instance, if you are a woman and you were making a contribution while you were still in your parents' side, there is a tendency for you to carry that mindset into marriage. You now want to begin to lord it over your spouse. It's not going to work. To get to a point where the man will want to stamp his feet and say, I'm the one in charge here, not you.
Yeah.
No, there are so many things that make us live like Alice in Wonderland, like I said. Until you tell yourself the truth, really. Most of the time, we don't like to acknowledge the truth to ourselves. And when you get to a point whereby you can't even acknowledge the truth to yourself, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Self-denial.
Living in self-denial. Yeah, if we think deeply, let's even think about it for a moment. What makes us think that those things we're expecting our spouses to do, that's the right thing? It's not the right thing because it's what you think.
Yeah.
Sometimes even for your situation and for your circumstance, it may not be right at all.
True.
But because you're obsessed with, you feel it ought to be, or you're the kind of person that like to have your way all the time, or you want to panic your spouse into conformity to what you have in your mind, it is not
What your
going to
friends
work.
do. What your friends
Some use what their friends do,
Yeah.
or how their friends' marriages are, or even your parents' marriage does not have to be like yours anyway.
True.
So we bring all of those, but in our house we used to do it this way, but this is another man's house, so it doesn't have to be the way it's done in your house.
Different country, different laws.
If you now begin to compare, okay, like I was using myself as an example, those novels that I read are from the Western world. It's not the reality of where I come from or where I live. At the time, I was even building, but I must say, it almost one of my unrealistic expectations almost came to be. Because back after we got married and we were living in Lagos, we were squatting then, we didn't even have our own house. But because I had a dream of living in a big house, a story building painted white, and I will come back, the gate will open, I will drive in and all of that. And my reality as at that time was I was doing a job of 4,500 and my husband was doing 2,500.
Wow.
Between the two of us, 7,000. So how can I live in that kind of house? But it was a dream I kept alive somewhere at the back of my mind. Until eventually it became a reality. But there was a process. There was a time that went in between that brought that reality. But if I come, and my husband was earning 2,500 and I expect him to go and rent a dude, from where to where? So some of these expectations that we carry, or you've attended a friend's wine carrying and you saw how it was, you come back and you believe that your own should be like that. Meanwhile, you are aware of the reality and circumstances of your spouse to be. Is it going to go to still to make you happy? That's not going to happen. Another one is, which is commonplace. I even wonder, I think it's women that do it more. When you know you're wrong, you're still waiting for your spouse to come and apologize to you. It doesn't make sense. When you're wrong, acknowledge you're wrong. If you're the type that find it difficult to say, so even me that is speaking, sorry is not commonplace with me. So no matter what excuse that you use, that you avoid hurting people, so when somebody hurts you and all, what? Are you sure you did not contribute even to the hurt you're feeling? Because some other person may go through the same experience and not call it anything. But you're caressing the hurt, you're keeping it, you're keeping malice 1 week, 2 weeks, you're magnifying it, you're waiting to be apologized to. Somebody else will hear you and say, oh, Google, is that all? So what's all the noise about? You'll be wondering if that person is normal. That just goes to tell us that people are wired differently. And most of the time, we insist on things being done the way we expect it to be done. But that's not our reality. The reality is that your spouse does not have to think like you, reason like you, act like you. And you do not have to insist that it must be so. Even in the face, it's never going to happen. So if you're insisting on that, you will be living in a fool's paradise. For the rest of your marital years, it will never happen. Because he is different and you are different. Or she is different and you are different.